Breakfast. Now to the next leg of our discussion. Of course, it's about the Nigeria Labour Congress that has now issued an urgent call for reversal of the recent petrol price increase. It's citing the devastating, or what it calls the devastating impact on the country. Well, the hike from 568 naira to 855 to 897 naira per litre has led to rising transportation costs, increased prices of food items, and a heightened sense of uncertainty among Nigerians. The NLC President, Comrade Joe Ajaero, argues that the increase will exacerbate poverty, worsen the economic situation, and negatively impact the standard of living for millions of Nigerians. Mr. Ajaero is demanding an immediate government action to address the fuel price hike and its far-reaching implications. The NLC's stance resonates with many Nigerians who are struggling to cope with the rising costs of living. And so we bring in Razak Olukoba. He is the convener of the Campaign for Dignity and Governance. He joins us on TVC Breakfast to share his perspectives on this issue. Of course, we'll also, hopefully, as time permits, look at possibly solutions, exploring ways in which Nigerians can demand accountability from their leaders, as well as some other issues that time will indeed permit us to discuss. Comrade, and it's fitting because of what we're going to discuss this morning. Welcome, Mr. Olukoba.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you once again. And this is such a very, bothersome subject, especially with the back and forth from Labour in its reaction and then government responding. Labour, the caption of its press statement yesterday was betrayal. We feel betrayed by the federal government, and that, of course, didn't sit down well with the government. It has since gone on to respond denying any form of betrayal. What do you make of where we are now? Thank
you very much. It has become a recurring decimal since 1999. Increase fuel price, you make noise about it, civil society and labor protest will come back again, will accept it. And to date, it has not changed. So for 25 years, is it Tinubu that we should hold responsible? Is it Obasanjo? Is it Jonathan or who? Which means there's a need for us to critically reflect on our energy as someone who is a major supplier in the world. Of course, energy is becoming more expensive all over the world, even coming with subsidy. But our own case is a bit peculiar. And I think that's the direction all of us refuse to look at. There is no president in Nigeria that has not increased fresh price. And Labour will keep coming out, will keep fighting it. And for us in the civil society, who took time to look at what could be possibly the problem, which is the model we set up for ourselves, particularly local consumption. Something is wrong with it. And as long as we adopt this model as a way of servicing Nigerians' demand for petrol, gas, diesel, and so on, we'll keep having these kind of challenges. So the way out is to look at what is the easiest way for us to start giving this product to Nigerians. One of it is the Dangotes, bringing our refiners back on board, and making sure that all the states who set wrong priorities for their states should have their own refineries. So it's going to be another exercise again. It's not going to be different. Labour will come out, there will be protests, some people will join them, then Nigerians will appeal to Labour, will come back again. Then in 6 months, price will go, which is the pattern. This is not Tinubu. I led protests about just time 9 times. So the Obasanjo will not be telling us about we need governance. It happened to him too. So it's for the leadership to admit that something is wrong with the way we structure our consumption pattern in this country. That should be the issue. So Onadoga has said in his defense that we cannot continue to do this because product that comes in from Nigeria is not. We are not making profit. That's the summary of what he's saying, which means it's coming back to the consumers. And in marketing, that's the economic decimal is to make profit. NNPC is limited now. So the intention is to make profit. So if you want to make profit, you come back to the consumer. So Nigerians who want to say something about this, labor who want to do something about it, should be more assertive in looking for a new solution. A new solution is not ganging against the government and say that you should reverse the price. And in looking for a solution, the government should also hasten their effort in bringing the Dangote product to the market for us. And also to change their own resolve too. 250 million Nigerians with 5 refineries. It's not possible to satisfy us. Even if Dangote resumes today, Port Harcourt refinery is working. Kaduna is working. All of them are working. We will still need more refineries. Capitalism is an economic model that is, as a summary, that profit must be made. So I know very well that the energy sector all over the world, oil plays a major role in it, and gas. If we remove oil and gas from the world activities today, the entire world will shut down. So if you have a country that has this kind of oil that we have in Nigeria, you should know that there will be internal and external factor. There are people who will introduce economic model that will make your economy porous for them to make profit. So government has that challenge too, that we have to also address. And so also, because of the responsibility of the government, particularly the federal government, is enormous. Federal government needs to make sure that the major source of income for federal government is oil. The president will continue to be the minister of oil, except the president of that is not smart. He will relinquish that power. So, and if that is the case, it means that as you make effort to have more product on ground, you should also factor that it's not unlimited. Oil may likely finish one day. So if we are planning for selling our product, local consumption, we must also be looking at how do we invest with the money. So how do we invest with the money is also a major issue, because generations to come will hold us responsible. If we are consuming oil, it's actually the blood of the soil. Right. It's going to come with the consequence in the future. So as for labor, labor should learn not to do the usual thing again.
But
labor said that, of course, it's going to come with pain.
Yes, especially with, the increment of the minimum wage, because now it appears that they fought for nothing. It appears, according to them, that they have been betrayed.
That's not too good. Right. If the 70 has not been paid, that's not too good.
Yes, but amidst the increment of the minimum wage, now that we are seeing an increment in the fuel price, what does it amount to for the minimum paid worker, for the minimum wages now that have now been increased to workers in Nigeria? What does that amount to with this increment in fuel price?
It looks as if we have parted our ways with labor, particularly some people who shared the kind of thought and share about salary increase. My own problem with salary increase is that when you look at the position of the statistics, labor statistics in Nigeria, it shows clearly that more than 80% of Nigerians say for unconventional means to survive. That's begging to augment their salary. That if salary is increased again now, prices of commodity will increase. And there's no guarantee that people who can't feed themselves with their salary will be above 90. So what that tells us is that the style of increased salary and leaving market prices for a free fall, it's not too good, and that's our challenge with labor. That labor should be bothered at how much of the workers of salary will be pursuing commodity in markets. That they should be involved in ensuring that the prices of commodities do not rise. Of course, one of it is its fuel price. But it's not the only thing. The essential things we need to survive in Nigeria, which is transportation, accommodation, and things like that. What are the landing costs? Why will houses you built 30 years ago increase from 2 million to 4 million. Labor should do something. It's a union thing. And at the market too, at Kosubosu, there's a bag of rice that is sold for 10,000 naira. If you find its way to the city, it becomes 30,000 naira. So that supply chain, what makes it to be 30,000 naira is transportation. So the transport union, housing sector, and all these things, labor needs to put itself together to make sure that the prices of goods are not increased when salaries are increased, because it's a step forward and 10 steps backward. So having said that, the relationship between labor and the federal government, from time, you don't know who to believe. Labor will say its own. The federal government will say it's so. And that's why I am not bothered about the content of the meeting. I am bothered about how did we find ourselves at this juncture. We find ourselves at this juncture because we are not paying attention to how we will resolve our local consumption locally. So, and if we continue to rely on someone to, they say there are 3 ships on sea now, right, to bring in fuel for us. We can't continue like that. I expect that prices of commodity will not increase. When you know very well that transaction currency is dollar, and because we have no other thing that attract people to come and transact business with us, our naira kept having challenges against the dollar. So which means that the naira to buy dollar, to bring any commodity, not even oil, will keep increasing. So if that is the case, why can't we go to local consumption? And that is why labor has its own challenge by not making the correct demand. The correct demand is that we should not consume products that is produced outside Nigeria again. We should pay attention. If that is the only singular demand that labor wants from federal government, people like us will be interested in joining them. You know, but when you say we should adopt old style and get different results, I have a challenge with that.
Right. So from what you have said, you know, as you are mentioning local consumption, I mean, the question that will come up is if Nigeria itself has the capacity to actually handle local consumption of goods to be able to feed the population. You also mentioned the fact that states should have their refineries. So many persons have said the Dangote refinery is a win for the private sector. But we are also talking about the fact that even the NNPCL cannot, to an extent, have the refineries, the government-owned refineries working. How much more state? So I'm concerned about how that is really going to work.
I told you about energy. Energy is a serious business all over the world. There are people who monopolize the crave to have access to energy. We have external challenges, and there are the people combating Dangote. The way to save Dangote's neck is to have more refineries. Even in war, you can't have one big warship. There must be numerous warships. If one ship is down, there's a challenge. So today, Dangote refinery is easy to sabotage because it's the only one, the major refineries we have. So to save him, it's not because we want to decimate Dangote. It's because we want to protect him. The way to build a barricade around Dangote refinery is to come up with more refineries. You also made a mistake.
But that's not a short-term solution.
Why? Since 2002, 1999, we are only talking about the easy way out. The easy way out is what led us to this 25 years ago, when we are supposed to be combative with government that, no, we don't want another thing. Local consumption of our petrol should be done locally. We can't keep doing that. Dollar rate everywhere is fluctuating. In some countries it's going down, some countries it's coming up. So we can't be out of that bracket too. Local the rate to Nigerian currency, naira to dollar, is fluctuating in terms of coming down today and surging up again. So for us, as a people in Nigeria, what we should be focused on is we should not send those guys packing who produce modular refineries. Of course, it may be criminal, but how do you modify it? China is over 1 billion, almost the same population with Africa. They don't have one gigantic institution like the Dangotes. What they have is cottage industries, So if you have cottage refineries in all the states, you won't be facing all these challenges. We have oil that should be refined in this country. Why must we take it to Singapore, take it all over the world? So the best way to stop people from attacking Dangote is to save him. How to save him is to throw the requirement for having refineries, lessen the demand, the requirement. Right. Make people have access to it, because to own a refinery in Nigeria, it's like having a certificate to go to heaven.
Okay, so Dangote is all we have, appears to be all we have right now, especially you know, to get us out of, you know, where we are now, the dire straits that we are in. Olamide and I were speaking earlier about, you know, what can be done. And you have said we protect him, because it happens to be a collective, a national interest. But it was also said on this table just before you walked in that he's running a business. And so if we protect him, what do we get in return?
What we get in return is that we are going to be removed from the trauma of having to run after fuel that is coming from Singapore. There are things...
But at what cost? He's saying he's offering us a cleaner, commodity. But the question I do
if Dangote is selling a product that is not essential to our life, who will protect him? Yam seller. Yam is everywhere. But because it is energy, there's no way the world can survive with energy. And that's why the question of electricity, gas, fuel, and certain commodities are important. That the government will not leave individuals to do the business without their involvement. So the people must also be involved in the Dangote's business. And for my own recommendation to even Dangote himself, capitalists don't monopolize. Capitalists exploit, which is called profit. Dangote should be willing to profit from other refineries that should be proxy to him. Why is building the own gigantic refinery? He should also have proxies, like 4 or 5. So that when they are coming for him, you have to fall back on. That's what capitalists operated all over the world. People who do big businesses all over the world always have, in secret, smaller business around them. So that when the challenge comes, that they are coming for him now, he will still be in business. People won't know how he's getting his own refinery. So for government, the way to come out of this challenge is first, you have to increase the public engagement with the people, because another strike is coming. Another protest will come, and Nigerians will join. I won't join, but I'm not Nigeria. There are millions of youth who felt bad that this economy is running in this way, who may not have a clear understanding of, they just want that, they know that price of commodities are increasing, and we're angry with the government, which is one of the challenges we have the younger element.
And
that this kind of debt, this kind of debt that I'm talking about, which should be the demand. You see people wearing in yellow and brown beret, and I say, no. How do we talk to government to understand that nobody is behind us? There's no political class that wants us to decimate your government. We just want the right thing to be done. There are young elements like that who are not politically motivated at all, who just want things to be done. But the content of their demand is my challenge. And we want price of commodity to come down. We have been saying that since 1999, 25 years ago. So what actually is the problem? What actually is the problem is that as long as we don't have numerous alternatives to buying local from a local producer of from refineries in Nigeria, we continue to have a challenge. And the question is, tell me one president in this country that has not increased fuel price. It's not an excuse, but we should, be bothered. I think the concern, we should be bothered. The concern, why is it a trade they have for us? Obajo is telling Nigerians. Don't tell Nigerians. Bari is telling Nigerians. Something is wrong with the way we run our life.
So I think the concern about the increase in fuel price is not really as regards that other presidents have also, experienced this, which also followed protests and all that, is how often we have experienced this in recent months, and, the probability of this also coming up. But then, for those listening to this conversation, some persons will want to, know about the ripple effect that this recent increase will have, because this is coming at a time where the FCCPC also gave a 1-month ultimatum to retailers to reduce the prices of goods and services. And you're also talking about the NLC not really focusing on, the price of fuel, but you also focus on reducing the prices of goods in the market. And now that the PMS has been increased, is this not going to be a loss for business owners?
I don't know how you are going to come out of this. Already the prices of commodities in the market is so high. In fact, children will be resuming very soon. And the bill you got for your children, the bill she got for our children, we don't know how to sort it out. So this one is added to it now. So automatically, price of commodity will increase. Right. But while addressing that, like I said, while addressing that, there are modifications that we can do to cushion this effect. I heard in the news this morning that 5 state governors have not submitted their reports on state police. Why? And I learned that all the presidents of this country are being sabotaged when it comes to state police. Do you know the effect of not having state police? It's the reason why we are still hungry in Nigeria. Farmers can't go back to their farm. And you want Egbetokun, who just constitute 167 special forces to secure 250 million Nigerians. Is that possible? The number of police in Nigeria is less than 200,000, except if the statistics has changed. So you want 200,000 policemen to secure the life of 250 million Nigerians, including special personality VIP, and they deserve to be protected. So the way out of this also is not only to look at oil and gas sector only, which is part of our demand with labor, that the political structure of this country, attention should be paid to it. For instance, the police institution, as it is today, the number of police we have, they are doing their best. You can't continue to condemn them. You want that number of people to be in schools, to be in churches, to be in mosques. What kind of people are we? So part of our demand should also be that there's an opportunity that is open for governors, which is to secure their own state. Right. We can't come out of insecurity. And once we come out of insecurity, the question of food, which is also going to be affected by the increase in fuel price, will also be cushioned. All right. So also on power. Before Barry left, I'm afraid we have been given, governors were told to start having access to energy in their state. Right. They didn't pick it up. So attention should not be only be on the president, the oil and gas sector. It should also be on security. It's also to be on electricity and numerous other things.
That's a fine place to rest our conversation. Razak Olokoba, we thank you very much for your contributions on the program. Of course, Mr. Olokoba is the convener of the Campaign for Dignity and Governance.